everyone, it's Alyssa from the Township of Washington Library with this month's take-home craft kit. So in your kit you have received only two things aside from the instructions. Some yarn and a hoop. And that is pretty much all that you need to create this wall hanging. Yay! Ooh. Yeah. So this is my yarn wall hanging, super trendy right now, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It's so easy to do. As you can see, I have dyed mine. I'll talk a little bit about how to get the color. I've added some embellishments. This is one of those projects that's really great for using up all of your leftover craft supplies from other projects, and it's totally customizable. This is great for dorm rooms, great for making it fit your decor, and it's really simple to do. And I think it looks pretty cute. All right, so we're gonna get started right now. So to get started, I have my bundles of yarn. So I still have some left over if I decide that I want to make it fuller, which maybe I do, I don't know yet, I haven't done this before. But so you can see I've cut up almost the entire ball of yarn. I left some natural, and I just have it here all looped, easy for me to pull, no tangles, because that's frustrating. And then some you can see that I dyed. So the yarn that I gave you is a mix of cotton and polyester. It is largely cotton, so it will take some color. I used liquid watercolors. This was purple, but just due to the way that that dye was made and the color base and how long I left it on for and some of the polyester in this yarn, it turned pink. And I don't hate it, honestly. It's kind of a really pretty pink and it looks nice with the natural color. But you can try all different things. I mean, you could try actual dye, like a RIT dye that you would get from the craft store. You could try liquid watercolors, you could try food coloring, Kool-Aid, anything that has a strong dye in it, and some of it will take. And so the way that I dyed mine, I'll show you a picture. I left it so that there is some variation. I didn't stick the whole thing in the tub. I kind of stuck part of it in the tub and then I let the color suck up through the threads. And so I have just all different tones. I have some pink, there's some purples right on the bottom actually. There's still some of the natural, there's some pastel tone natural, and I really like how that looks. So this is new for me, so we're gonna just give this a try. And I'm just gonna have my hoop and we're just gonna start knotting. And the way that these look best, honestly, is either if you have them really neat and precise, or totally variated, and it gives it that bohemian, woodsy, fairy look that is super trendy right now. So I'm gonna start with, I'm not sure how many I wanna do to get a good size knot, but I'm gonna say 4. Start with 4 of the regular color. And you know, you can make it as even as you want. You can see here at the bottom it's not totally even, but also you are probably going to trim it when you're all done to make it fit whatever shape you like. Some people do a V, some people do a slant, some people do a line. This is totally custom and up to you. Alright, the other thing that I should mention is that, like I said, I'm just kind of playing around with this. I've never done this before, but I cut my yarn to, I think it was about 32 inches about per strand. I definitely made it a little bigger than the diameter of the circle, so double that plus a little bit more. You could go longer if you would like. If you have thicker yarn, maybe you want to go shorter. It just depends. Play with the texture and have fun. But let me move my piles a little bit. All this is just looping and knotting. So I have my loop here at the top. Place it under. I'm going to feed my ends through and just make sure it's nice and tight. So easy. Ta-da! So the thing that you do want to make sure you watch out for is as you go along your hoop, make sure your knot bubble, the bump on your knot, is facing the same direction each time, because if you have some knots this way, some knots that way, it's going to start to look a little sloppy, and you don't really want that. You want it to be neat and tidy up here. So I'm just going to continue going, and I'm going to change it up every so often. Like I think maybe my next one I'll have 2 strands of the natural and 2 strands of pink, and see how I like that. You could make it also totally, I know ombre is still super trendy in terms of color stories, which is a little bit unintentionally what this strand is. Look at that, it's a little darker at the bottom than it is at the top, which is nice. You could start with natural and then have it progressively get darker, or the other way around, start with natural out here and have it get darker towards the center. I mean, there are just so many options, and it's so easy and so fun to make it match your home decor, your room. This is awesome for dorms. Oops, I did, nope, there we go. I thought I did it wrong for a second. Okay, there we go, that's my second strand. Look at that, I love it. And because I am a stickler for symmetry, I'm going to put a similar bundle on the other side. So a little bit more about how I dyed these strands. I just took a cup of very hot water and I poured in some of my liquid watercolor pigment, mixed it all up, and then I dunked my yarn in. I'll show you the picture again. And then I let it sit for about 15 minutes because I was in a rush. I could have done longer for sure. And then I rinsed it out with cold water. I'm no scientist. I don't remember the science behind this, but when you're using dye to dye fabric, apparently you're always supposed to use hot water. I know this from back when I used to do costumes in college, and afterwards you always use hot water. I guess it helps to open up the fibers. Okay, so I've finished using pretty much all my yarn. I only have a couple strands left. What I have also gone in and done, as you can see, is I have added a couple little filler knots of just 1 strand of yarn in between some of them, and I kind of pulled them up and created this just line art here. Something that would be really interesting to do is if you have any coordinating beads, I know wooden beads, or if you have some big gold beads to match this hoop, or if you paint the hoop another color, whatever bead color matches, that would look really nice in here. If you know any macrame knots, you can pull the strands up and do some macrame knots. And I'm gonna fluff this out a little bit and make it neater, but this is what I will eventually use to hang my hoop. And it was just I just simply looped it right around the top. Nothing complicated there. Okay, so I have my hanging here. As you can see, it is so uneven at the bottom, but I'm not ready to cut it yet. So one of the things that's really cool that you can do with this yarn is you can change the texture in so many ways. Okay, so I found this, which is just like a very textured ribbon. This is polyester, so I'm not sure if it would take if I colored it. If it did, it would probably be very pale as well. But I'm gonna toss it in to the equation here to show you how you can change up the texture. And that makes, you know, it more bohemian. That changes the whole look. Just kind of eyeballing this here to make sure I have the right length. So now there's some different texture in there. It's a little more playful. All right, so one of the other things that you can do, you can add some braids. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab trying to decide if I want to grab strands from the same knot or from next door neighbor knots, because I don't want to ruin an entire knot and have like a bald patch. So let's play with it. And if you want your braid to be really chunky, you can take 6 strands. I'm just doing, for right now, I'm just doing 3 strands, but you can change it up. There's nothing that needs to be perfect about these. So I did my braid, and because I haven't cut the bottom yet, I'm just gonna actually do something a little fun, and I'm going to pull out all of the strands. So this is like a worsted yarn. It's thin, it's not a heavyweight, but it does have all of these strands that are tied together. You can pull them out and fluff them, and it gives you a different texture. Okay, so I have this here. I put in a couple of braids. There we go, this direction. I'll probably add more to it, but in the interest of just showing y'all what to do next. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to hang this up like temporarily. I'm gonna, I don't know, put this on something behind me, and then you start to trim to make your shape at the bottom. So let's see where we're gonna put this. Okay, so I'm just gonna start trimming, and I think I'm gonna make a little V shape on mine, and just kind of see how it shapes up. Okay, that's better. That's good enough for me. So the last thing that I would like to do and tell you that you can do is I had these flowers at home. I made a wreath for Halloween, and these were left over. So I always see these wall hangings sometimes have flowers. So you could do the flower right up on the hoop itself. You could do it as a centerpiece here in your knot. You can do it, I mean, no rules. No rules. So I'm gonna pull the flowers off of their stems. I'm gonna see if I can figure out what I want to do here. And I'm gonna just use hot glue. Of course, you want to be careful with gluing to your hoop. You want to make sure there's enough surface connection. Good luck, we're gonna see how it works. Obviously the hot glue will stick best to the yarn. So what I'm doing here is I'm gluing them with a very large dollop of glue to the front of the hoop. Once it is set, I'm gonna flip it over and encase the back of the hoop in more glue. That way these flowers won't pop off. So I'll show you that when we get to it, but right now I'm letting them dry. This one I just stuck right in the yarn. It's nice and secure, and I did the same with this one. The hoop's a little more difficult, as many of you fellow crafters know. With hot glue on smooth surfaces like this, it just tends to pop right off. So I'll show you how I'm going to encase the glue all the way around so that hopefully we can prevent that, and it'll be on the back so no one will be able to see it, and that'll be that. So as you can see, it's pretty secure on the front, but it's totally open here in the back, and that's what causes things that are hot glued to pop off way too easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make an entire glue capsule bubble here around this hoop to keep everything in line. Switch it up and pretend. All right, friends, so that is it. That is my yarn wall hanging, and I might want to add some more. So this is what it looks like for now, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of those projects that when I take it and I hang it up at home, I'm going to want to add more. I think I have some black yarn at home just to kind of tie in these black pieces here, so it's not so stark of a contrast. But like I said, my house is pretty much black and white, so it'll look nice hanging up. And that's it. So remember, you can trim the bottom however you want, add whatever embellishments you want. It is so easy, and this is one of those projects where no two are gonna look alike. So if you would like to send me a picture of your finished project, whether you've made it straight up plain with the regular yarn, or you have dyed it, changed it, tassels, yarn, ribbon, flowers, whatever you've done, send me a picture. My email is on the instruction sheet that you received. Or if you didn't get a kit and you made this yourself, which, I mean, it's so easy to do. You can just get yarn and a hoop from any craft store. Even the dollar store has these. And you can use an embroidery hoop. You can use whatever your heart desires. Send me a picture. I would love to see. My email is on our website. You can send it to us on our social, on Facebook, or tag us on Instagram. We would love to see what you've been up to. All right, so until next month's craft, that is it. I hope you all have fun and enjoy.